Listen, I want you to picture something real. A kitchen table in suburban Phoenix on a Tuesday afternoon in March 2026. Patricia Walsh sits there. She is 67 years old. The funeral was 9 days ago. Her husband, Michael, retired Honeywell mechanical engineer, the man she married 16 years ago, died of a heart attack on a Saturday morning in the garage. Patricia holds a letter from Fidelity. She has read it 4 times. It says her husband's $487,000 retirement account has been paid out to Linda, Michael's first wife, from 28 years ago. Michael divorced Linda in 1997. He signed a complete release of all claims. He moved on. He built a life with Patricia for 16 years. But the one document he never updated, his 401k primary beneficiary form, was the only document that mattered. And under federal law, his ex-wife just inherited everything. Michael had 5 beneficiary forms across his accounts: his 401k, his IRA, his life insurance, his HSA, and his pension. Each one is governed by a different federal rule. Each one overrides your will. And the rule that delivered Linda the 401k, even after the divorce, is a 2001 Supreme Court case called Egelhoff versus Egelhoff. This is for informational purposes only, and not financial, tax, or legal advice. Consult a qualified estate planning attorney for your specific situation. My name is Robert, your guide to the retirement decisions that look ordinary on the surface and quietly punish your family for years afterward. If this is helpful, hit subscribe. Drop the year of your last beneficiary update in the comments. I will tell you which form is most at risk. Today I am going to walk you through every one of those 5 forms. The 401k and ERISA preemption, the IRA and the Secure Act 10-year rule, the life insurance contingent trap, the HSA tax bomb, and the pension election that locks in the day you retire. 5 forms, 1 Supreme Court case. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which form on your desk is the biggest risk to your family. Form 1. The 401k primary beneficiary designation, and the rule of Egelhoff versus Egelhoff. In 2001, the United States Supreme Court heard a case from Washington State. David Egelhoff had listed his wife as primary beneficiary on his Boeing employer life insurance and pension plan. The Egelhoffs divorced. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, David died in a car accident. He had never updated the beneficiary form. Under Washington state law at the time, a divorce automatically revoked any spousal beneficiary designation. David's adult children from his prior marriage believed the death benefit should pass to them. They sued. The Supreme Court ruled 8-2 in an opinion written by Justice Clarence Thomas. The Washington state revocation statute was preempted by federal law, specifically Title 29 of the United States Code, Section 1144, the ERISA preemption clause. The plan administrator was required to pay the beneficiary listed on the plan documents. The ex-wife kept the money. The ruling applies to every retirement plan governed by ERISA, every 401k, every 403b, every 457 plan, every defined benefit pension, every employer-sponsored life insurance policy. State divorce law cannot override the beneficiary form on file with the plan administrator. Michael Walsh's 401k was at Honeywell, governed by ERISA. The beneficiary form he signed in 1985, the year he started at the company, listed Linda. He never changed it. When Patricia's attorney sent the 1997 divorce decree to Fidelity, the plan administrator's response was simple. Under ERISA preemption, the beneficiary form controls. The release of claims in the divorce decree was a state law document. It could not override the federal rule established by Egelhoff. Fidelity paid Linda $487,000 within 90 days. Patricia received nothing from that account. The fix is brutally simple. Every 5 years, and after any life event, marriage, divorce, birth, death, change of relationship, pull every 401k and every employer retirement plan summary. Verify the beneficiary form on each. Update both the primary and the contingent beneficiary. Your will cannot fix this. Your trust cannot fix this. Your divorce decree cannot fix this. Only the beneficiary form on file with the plan administrator can fix this. If you are watching this and you have a 401k from a previous employer that you have not touched in over 5 years, you have homework to do this week. Form 2. The IRA, traditional or Roth. Here is where it gets interesting. IRAs are not governed by ERISA. ERISA applies to employer plans. An IRA you hold at Fidelity or Schwab or Vanguard is a private custodial account between you and the custodian. State law can apply to the beneficiary designation on an IRA. In some states, a divorce automatically revokes an ex-spouse beneficiary designation on an IRA. In other states, it does not. That sounds like good news. It is not. Because if you are relying on state law to revoke your ex-spouse's beneficiary designation on your IRA, you are also assuming that the state law will function correctly 20 years from now, when you actually die. State legislatures change these statutes regularly. The safer course is to update the form yourself. And there is a second IRA trap, the Secure Act 10-year compression. Under Internal Revenue Code Section 401, subsection A9H, enacted by the Secure Act of 2019, non-spouse beneficiaries of an inherited IRA must distribute the entire balance within 10 years. The old stretch IRA rule, where your children could spread distributions over their own life expectancy, is gone for non-spouse heirs. A $487,000 inherited IRA distributed over 10 years pushes the heir's marginal tax bracket by a full tier for that entire decade. Form 3. Life insurance. Most retirees own at least one life insurance policy. The beneficiary designation on a life insurance policy is contractual. It is written into the policy itself. It overrides your will, your trust, your divorce decree, and every other estate planning document you have ever signed. The trap on life insurance is the contingent beneficiary. If you list only your spouse and your spouse predeceases you, and you have not named a contingent beneficiary, the death benefit falls into your estate. From there it passes through probate, which can take 6 to 18 months, and consume 3 to 7% of the proceeds in fees. The second trap is the language of the contingent designation. The phrase per stirpes means the share passes down through the named beneficiary's bloodline. The phrase per capita means the share is divided equally among named beneficiaries at the level you specify. Most policy owners do not understand the difference, and the default form often leaves the language blank. Poll your life insurance policies. Verify primary and contingent. Check the per stirpes language. Update both if either is missing or out of date. Form 4. The Health Savings Account, or HSA. HSAs have a tax rule that almost no retiree knows about. Under Internal Revenue Code Section 223, subsection F8, the inheritance of an HSA is treated completely differently depending on who you list as the beneficiary. If you list your spouse, the HSA continues as the surviving spouse's HSA. No immediate tax, full preservation of the tax advantage status. If you list anyone else, an adult child, a sibling, a friend, anyone, the HSA ceases to be an HSA the moment you die. The fair market value of the account becomes ordinary income to the beneficiary in the year of your death. A $48,000 HSA left to an adult child becomes $48,000 of ordinary income on the child's tax return. At a 24% marginal rate, that is $11,520 of federal tax that would not have existed if you had named your spouse. If you list nobody, the HSA passes to your estate. Same result. Taxable to the estate in the year of death. The fix is simple. If you are married, list your spouse's primary on every HSA. List your adult children only if your spouse has predeceased you. Form 5. The Pension Joint and Survivor Election. This is the only one of the 5 forms that is irrevocable. Once you commence pension payments under one election, You cannot change it. Under ERISA Section 205, codified at Title 29 of the United States Code, Section 1055, every defined benefit pension plan must offer married participants a qualified joint and survivor annuity as the default form of payment. The QJSA pays the participant a monthly benefit during their lifetime and pays the surviving spouse at least 50% of that benefit after the participant dies. A participant may elect a single life annuity instead, a higher monthly payment but with no survivor benefit. To elect single life, the participant must obtain written consent from the spouse, witnessed by either a plan representative or a notary public. Many retirees elect single life without fully understanding the consequence. The higher current income looks attractive at 65. But if you die at 75 and your spouse lives to 90, your spouse receives zero pension income for 15 years. The election is locked in the day your first pension payment hits your account. There is no reversal. There is no appeal. There is no Form SA-44 equivalent for pensions. If you have a defined benefit pension and you have not yet commenced payments, this is the single most important retirement decision you will make. 5 moves to close the trap before your family discovers it the hard way. Move 1. Pull every plan summary you have access to: the 401k, the 403b, the pension, the IRA, the Roth, the HSA, the life insurance, the annuity. If you have an old plan from a previous employer that you have not touched in over 5 years, contact that plan administrator this week and request a copy of your current beneficiary designation. Move 2. Verify the named primary and contingent beneficiary on each form. Most retirees discover at least one outdated form. Many discover 3. Move 3. Update the form directly with the plan administrator or custodian. Your will cannot fix this. Your trust cannot fix this. Your divorce decree cannot fix this. Only the beneficiary form on file with the institution can fix this. Move 4. Recheck every 5 years and after any life event: marriage, divorce, birth of a grandchild, death of a beneficiary, change of relationship. Calendar a reminder right now. Move 5. For your pension specifically, if you have not yet commenced payments, sit down with a fee-only fiduciary advisor before you sign the joint and survivor election. This is the one irrevocable decision in the entire framework. Get it right the first time. Patricia Walsh cannot undo what happened. Linda, Michael's first wife from 28 years ago, kept the $487,000 from the Honeywell 401k. The Egelhoff rule is settled federal law. There is no appeal, no clawback, no state court that can override it. What Patricia could do, and what her attorney finally helped her with 3 months later, was audit Michael's remaining accounts. He had an IRA at Schwab. Patricia was listed as primary on that one. He had a small life insurance policy through his last consulting job. Patricia was listed there as well. The HSA still had a beneficiary that was listed as Linda. That account had to be challenged through state law and was eventually settled in Patricia's favor, but only because Arizona's state revocation statute applied to non-ERISA accounts. The lesson for everyone watching: beneficiary forms are not a retirement planning detail. They are the single set of documents that override every other estate planning instrument you have ever signed. The will you spent $3,000 drafting with an attorney, the trust you set up to protect your assets, the divorce decree your lawyer negotiated. None of them control your 401k, your IRA, your life insurance, your HSA, or your pension. Only the beneficiary form does. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button and share this video with your spouse. The 5 forms, the 401k, the IRA, the life insurance, the HSA, and the pension, are the ones the system will not remind you about until it is too late. In the comments, tell me the year of your last beneficiary update. I read every one. If your last update is more than 5 years ago, I will tell you which form on your desk is the biggest risk. I will see you in the next video.